potatoes. A frying pan, which I'm gonna wash because it looks like shit. Okay, I'm gonna change the language to English. Making lunch. Alright. Alright. Hello. Okay, so now basically I'm gonna peel the potatoes. Bloop, 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 bloop. Hey, these potatoes are super fresh. I'm surprised by how fresh they are, actually. And you know how much they were? No, fuck, I broke this motherfucking shit. They were 19 cents. Only 19, not 90. Like a whole bag for 19 cents. Oh my god. That was amazing. I saw them and I was like, okay, I need to get them. And I go for bags of fucking potatoes, which I think one day I'm gonna make chips or crisps, however you call them. Crisp, chips, the same. All right. One more maybe, or maybe two of them, or maybe three, or maybe four, or maybe five, or maybe six, or maybe seven, or maybe 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What other languages? I don't know any more languages. Oh my god, I'm a fucking illiterate. I don't know any languages. Come on, bro. Come on, Rick. Which ones are the languages that you know? Okay. And now I'm gonna grab a fork. And something that I like doing a lot is cutting the potatoes like this. Big and fat chunks. In Spain, we call this cutting the potatoes like claca. Claca, because it's the sound claca, 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 claca. And that's the best, that it's a super fast way of cutting potatoes. They get crispy on the outside, soft on the inside, and yeah, that's the best. That it takes only 1 minute, 2 minutes to cut each potato. Okay. And something that I like doing a lot as well is frying the peels, because it gives I don't throw any food. That's my main rule when cooking. Don't throw food, even though if you don't like it, or if it tastes bad, or if it's very burnt, no, But if it's a little bit burnt only, don't throw it, bro. Eat it. Come on. There's people dying from hunger, and I'm gonna be throwing away food. No, bro. Okay, perfectly fine. Now, olive oil. Why olive oil? Because I like olive oil. No, I don't use any other oils, which is quite expensive, to be honest. But I think it's worth, like, if you cook something in olive oil and then you cook it in some other shitty oil, it's like two different worlds. This is like heaven, and the other one is like fucking shit. Like the hell, bro. This is like cooking in heaven, bro. Like the textures that it gets, the flavor, and also it's way healthier cooking in olive oil than cooking in some other repressed vegetable oil or repressed seed oil, or I don't know. Look, I've spent almost the whole bottle, and this is like, I mean, this one was pretty cheap because with the club card you could get this for like £6, 1 liter of olive oil. But it's almost cheaper than in Spain, so why not? And now I'm gonna turn the heat, and I'm gonna put this on maybe on a 5, so it cooks inside, and then I'm gonna put it higher so it cooks on the outside as well. And while this heats, I'm gonna wash the peels. Why? Because then I'm gonna fry them, and I don't want to fry on dirty stuff, so that's why I'm gonna wash them. And okay, this, I'm gonna wash this plate as well. And what am I gonna do next? Okay. Yes, basically. It's okay because it was cleaned before, so now it will be fine. Okay, and now I'm gonna wash the peels and let them soak so the starch of the potatoes falls. I'm gonna wash them a few times, and then I'm gonna let them soak until they feel like they are not like you can see like the water is kind of blurry. So yeah, we need to get rid of the starch, so because they are really thin, and as soon as we fry them we want them to cook well, and we don't want any starch for that. So yeah, and oh yes, I need my spatulas. I'm gonna put it on a 6 better, because if not it's gonna take too long. And they need to be swimming, literally like swimming in olive oil. So I'm gonna put this like this and let it chill for a little bit, because it's gonna take, oh, it smells like heaven, bro. And this rice, I don't know whose rice is this, but it's making me hungry. Because look, and how these people let this sink, I don't understand anything. I don't know what to do with my life, because I'm gonna watch. I'm so tired. And the cleaner hasn't come in 2 weeks. I don't understand. Ascendant. Let's see what this means.
Welcome to my royal regal palace. This is Palace of the King, the Lion. And that's who we're gonna talk about today. The Leo Ascendants. So let's find out what these guys are about and what their life is like from a foundational point of view. Because as you know, I am going to do these series of rising sign without any inclination towards good or bad. The good or bad situations, when you're looking at the rising sign, depends on planets and the energy that they're activating in the house. However, I want to tell you what a Leo's foundation is like, what kind of things and they run into, and based on that, the good or bad comes in. So, but first of all, what is rising sign? Seriously, what is rising sign? Rising sign is the sign that was rising from the east when you were born. Okay, so let's say you're being born here, but on the east, Leo was rising where sun rises from. That becomes your ascendant, your rising sign. So Leo ascendants, who are these people? Well, first of all, Leo people are very proud and very confident people. Okay, they know that without doing too much work, they will win you over. Why? Because Leo is represented by the lion. A lion naturally has a confidence. It's in their DNA that because, how it has come from hundreds and thousands of years of, lifestyle, the baby lion already knows that I need to dominate other people. So they don't need to particularly show you that I'm dominant. Their presence already makes them feel dominant. Okay, so this is why the confidence comes into the play for these people, the ascendants. Don't mistake this for the sun, Leo sun sign. Okay, because that is they can be shy, they can be introverted. Leo ascendants, okay, can also be that depending upon the sun. However, their foundation most of the time lets them be that confident, that confident person that when I walk in the room, I automatically will get attention. So even if they're introverted and they walk into the room, they still get that attention. However, one thing to notice about the Leo ascendant people, the first house of Leo, okay, because we're going to be discussing all the houses that relates to their education, their marriage, their career, their friends, their religious views, okay. So one thing about Leo ascendant people is that they are very quiet people. They don't really talk much. Okay, they only talk when they're provoked, or they talk when they want to make a strict point. And this is why lion does the same thing. Lion sits back quietly. Only when he sees a prey, or only when, he's provoked, he will growl. So this is the main first house, the personality of the Leo person. But let's discuss what happens with the other aspects of their life. So when it comes to their family, their family environment, their wealth, their assets, they are very calculative with these things. They are very intelligent about how to relate to their family, how to, see, okay, I'm gonna behave with my father this way. I am going to behave with my mother this way. I'm going to communicate with my siblings this way. It's very calculative. I think because Virgo rules their second house of all the things that I just talked about, the family, the wealth, the assets, they're very calculative with these things. When it comes to their communication, especially with siblings, communication with their people around them, the local people around them, it's very dynamic and it's, very overpowering. That's why they make very good communicators, very good creative communicators, because Libra rules their third house of communication. Libra, which is ruled by Venus, it's very sensual, it is very pleasing, and it's very articulate communication that Leo people, use, and this is why they're known as a dynamic personality, because of the fact it's not just their appearance, but when they communicate, it is so pleasing that they come out as a very, confident, dynamic personality. When it comes to their home, they're very protective of their home, like a lion. Lion is very protective of his den. And so, because Scorpio rules that fourth house, they're very deeply involved with their home and their, home environment. They have a deep connection with the mother too, and it can be a very turbulent, communication and very turbulent protectiveness with the family, meaning that they can become really, really controlling, like really tight-gripped about them, which depends on how Mars is placed and where Moon is placed, because Mars is controlling the fourth house of their home environment, and Moon becomes the signifactor of the fourth house. So you got to see that. When it comes to their education, raising children, when it comes to their creativity, there's a philosophical idea behind it. They become very. They want to instill their culture, their life philosophy, and their intelligence onto their children. They want to tell them, this is how life is, this is what you do. It's a very esoteric relationship with their children for Leo ascendant. Their creativity is very philosophical and rich, because fifth house represents creativity as well. They're very good at education as well. Education, and usually lawyers are seen. And more than anything else, lawyers can easily be seen with Leo ascendant, because of the fact fifth house of education is about Jupiterian energy, which represents the law, which represents even religious studies, which represents cultural studies. Now here's the thing. Leo ascendant people have lots and lots of oppositions in their life, because the sixth house of opposition, of people who challenge you, people, not necessarily enemy, it's also enemies, but it's literally people who challenge you, who make you perceive, who make you like your competitors. Okay, it's very challenging for them, because their sixth house is ruled by Capricorn, whose lord is Saturn, and Saturn is a arch enemy of the sun. This is probably the most disturbing enemy relationship in the zodiac, with Leo with Sun and Saturn. So they face a lot of oppositions with them. Okay, their seventh house, the marriage. Okay, their marriage and their relationship is always, first of all, like the Cancer ascendant, it's always with a partner who is in it for the business relation, who is in it, who is mature, but especially for Leo ascendant, it kind of becomes they don't even realize it, but the person that they marry are in it for what they are about to give to them, are in it for the sun. This is probably the most disturbing enemy relationship in the zodiac with in their life, because the sixth house of opposition, of people who challenge you, people, not necessarily enemy, it's also enemies, but it's literally people who challenge you, who make you perceive, who make you like your competitors. Okay, it's very challenging for them, because their sixth house is ruled by Capricorn, whose lord is Saturn, and Saturn is a arch enemy of the sun. This is probably the most disturbing enemy relationship in the zodiac, with Leo with Sun and Saturn. So they face a lot of oppositions with them. Okay, their seventh house, the marriage. Okay, their marriage and their relationship is always, first of all, like the Cancer ascendant, it's always with a partner who is in it for the business relation, who is in it, who is mature, but especially for Leo ascendant, it kind of becomes they don't even realize it, but the person that they marry are in it for what they are about to give to them, are in it for themselves. They kind of like they may marry somebody who might be considered heartless, because Leo, the sun, represents the heart, signifactor of the heart. So the opposite of that, it's somebody who doesn't have that. So their husband or their wife are maybe in it for their, money, might be in it for the security, might be in it for a business opportunity. So the wife or husband might know, okay, I know I can help them, but they will definitely bring me money or wealth. So externally, you might think they're a very good couple, but the foundation of the Leo thing is that in behind the scenes, when cameras are not rolling and people don't know what's going on in the four walls, it's a very distant relationship between the husband and the wife, and it happens. No, Leo ascendant may have a very beautiful relationship, but still, that beautiful relationship will have that beauty based on these practical facts that I just told you. They're very esoteric too. Leo ascendant can make very dynamic astrologers, tantric people who are into the occult. Why? Because the 8th house that represents these things is controlled by Jupiter, the sign of Pisces, whose lord is Jupiter. And Jupiter signifies these things as well, very strongly. So they can have a lot of knowledgeable information about these esoteric things, and depending upon the Jupiter, their longevity, the vitality within them will also, be determined because of Jupiter. Their philosophical views, their religious views, and their higher learning, which may not be academic, is very determined. They're very adamant about that. So these people can make one of those extremist sometimes, that extremist religious people. You might find nice extremist people, like, somebody who's a vegan. Somebody who's a vegan promotes peace, but and that's a good thing. But they come out as very extreme they really believe that, and they try to preach that. They try to preach that with a sword. Why? Because the 9th house is ruled by Aries, whose controller is Mars, the soldier. So this is why, in a good or bad sense, the foundation will be that they're very headstrong about that. Once they believe it, they believe it. Even though people might think, dude, I don't want to be a vegan. I love my greasy pizza and I love burger. I'd rather die eating a burger than eat your raw food stuff. Actually, that might be true. I'd rather die eating a cake, Oreo cake. But that's how it is, So their religious views do not fluctuate. They're very fixed because it's a fixed sign. So they're about, staying with what they believe in. Their career, again, dynamic careers. They love a career that exposes them to outer world. Why? Because Venus rules their 10th house of career and 3rd house of communication and media. So obviously, Leo's natural place is on the stage. Whether it is films, TV, news, anything. Remember Johnny Cochran, the attorney for O.J. Simpson, who was very flamboyant and out there, Leo ascendant. And like I said, they make good lawyers because the education that instilled within them from birth is about following the...
Ever feel your home is full of hints? Declutter with Vinted. List in minutes.
Send money internationally with low fees with Remitly. Remitly is easy. Sign up and send now.
Hello everyone, AstroKit here and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about your ascendant sign. And basically, your ascendant sign is so important in astrology. Your ascendant is kind of how you are perceived by the world. It's kind of like your first impression. And if you guys didn't know already, you have like a big 3 in astrology. So you have your sun sign, which we all know, you have your moon sign, and then you have your ascendant sign. In order to calculate your ascendant sign, you do have to know your birth time and the place you're born, and a bunch of other details. So what you can do is click the link in my bio down below. If you don't have your birth chart yet, hey everyone, AstroKit here and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about your moon sign. And if you guys didn't already know, your moon sign is really one of the most important parts of your birth chart. Your moon sign
This is
really
looking
your
good.
inner emotions. It's inside of you. A lot of people might not see. And your moon sign really shows you how you think, how you react. It's really like your inner world. So in this video, I'm just going to explain how that applies to your moon sign. So if you guys want to find out the traits and characteristics of your moon sign, keep on watching. And I also have a website where I post blog posts about each topic I talk about on my channel. So if you guys want to read a
Oh,
post on my
¿Cómo huele?
already. It is called the astrokit.com. And then also on my website, I have my services. So I do natal chart readings, and I do a bunch of other services. So if you guys want a natal chart reading, go ahead and click.
Happy New Year to all the people, to all the haters, and to all the trolls. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off with this new year with Moon in Aquarius sign. And what happens when Moon comes into the sign of Aquarius during your birth? Well, Moon, which is the most important planet in your horoscope, because Moon is the mind, is the way you think, is the way you project yourself mentally to other people, is the way you observe other things in, which is through your mind. And mind is controlled by the Moon. Well, when Moon comes into Aquarius, the key word here is unconventional. Why? Because the sign of Aquarius is not only ruled by Saturn, but Rahu is also the controller of the sign of Aquarius. Okay. And this is why, and Rahu is the taboo breaker, the unconventional, the weirdo. Okay. So here, the mind Aquarius becomes a mind of somebody who wants to gather the crowd, who wants to bring about a message of the future. These people, their mind comes into play when they're organizing things and they're organizing big events. Whether they are, party planners to political organizing.
Mira qué color, what a color, bro. It's like gold. It's golden gold. Oh my goodness. That fatty fat. Oh, yeah. I love olive oil. It's perfectly golden. It's like going to the beach.
Aquarius people, the reason why they are unconventional when they think in a very weird sense is because they think that they are mental projection of the world. You know that the limit is far beyond the time period everybody else is living. Like, if they think that, if the rest of the people are saying that, okay, I want to get married, I want to, have a big wedding, I want to have kids, I want to have this and that, they're like, no. I would rather live with somebody and maybe not have a marriage and just live together, or I don't want to do that hoopla of marriage and the big day and blah, blah, blah. I just want to go to court, sign papers, and just get this thing over with. Because they think that in the future, the institution of marriage should be more simpler and would be more simpler. They have a scientific way of defining things. This is why Moon in Scorpio and Pisces and Cancer becomes more esoteric and spiritual. However, with Moon and Aquarius, their sense of spirituality comes in when they're able to prove to themselves and others that this is how things are working. So a very analytical and scientific mind comes into play. These are the people who will be like, oh really, so debilitated sun will cause me self-esteem problems, having lack of ego, and problems with my father. Okay, but how is it working? How does it work? Tell me. The gravitational force of the planet? Is it some electromagnetic field that is happening around us that during our birth, the planet is giving a lack of its electromagnetic pulses, or the aura is, according to the planet, the aura is lacking in relationship to the father. They want an explanation. And until they have that explanation, they are not really going to believe them. Unless, of course, you prove it to them that this is how your life was, then they believe it. So let's say these people go in Aquarius, go to an astrologer, and the astrologer starts babbling about the future. But they're not interested. They're like, why don't you tell me about my past first? So I know what you're talking about is real, is working.
Oh, it's too hard. It's like uncooked rice.
But the way to define these people is that the only way their mental balance comes into play is when they create their own path. They want to be, first of all, universally connected with everybody, and they want to create their own path. They're like, this is how I want to do it. Whether you think it's weird, whether you think it's out of the context of society, I think this is how I feel and this is how I want to do. You know, they have, here's the thing about Moon in Aquarius. They want to break the taboos of society, but at the same time, they do not want to go so far that they will break the laws of the society. And so this is why they do want to get married, but they do not want to get married in that traditional sense that the society tells them to be. You know, they will just go to court marriage and do the marriage, or they will just have this handshake with their loved one to say, okay, today we're married, that's it. And this is where the unconventional, this eccentricness comes into play, and the mind, you know, is very scientific because of Rahu. Because Aquarius side of Saturn becomes very liberal. It becomes very like, you know, networking and being that party and being that, you know. Hi, what's your role?
What I carry makes me stronger.
What I'll do next? Crowded places and just,
Well, I'm hungry
you know,
as fuck.
going in and networking and connecting one to another. But Rahu is a scientific planet, along with taboo breaking. This is why Jupiter and Rahu conjunction creates good scientists. And here too, when Moon comes into Aquarius, makes a person a scientist. They're very detail oriented, they're very disciplined, so when they're focusing on creating some sort of a binary DNA extrapolation, they're focused on it. But their mind is about searching for the truth and defining to others this is how things work. Like for them, they can just explain to you, oh yes, you have an aura, and if you do Kundalini, you go to God and you go to fourth dimension. No, they're like, here, let me show you scientifically. This is how it works. See the brain? And when this person is doing meditation, this part of the brain is lighting up and the other are shutting down. This shows hallucination. This shows experiencing something out of normal. And this is how Kundalini can be explained. This is how they go into place. And this part of the brain is lighting up and the other are shutting down. This shows hallucination. This shows experiencing something out of normal. And this is how Kundalini can be explained. This is how they go into place. And their mental instability comes in when they have to be disciplined to follow the order. When they have to follow the orders and laws and regulations of the society. Like you do this now, you do this now, you're gonna have this big wedding, you're gonna go to school at this time, you're gonna go to school at, no, they want to finish school at their own time. They want to study whatever they want. They'll become, they say, you know, screw this, I'm gonna become a major of philosophy and I'll become a physicist. They do it. So this is why people have a hard time with these moons. Like, dude, what are you? What is my why? I can't figure out my why. I can't figure out my husband. Well, that's what it is. They sometimes the energy of Rahu comes into place. Sometimes Saturn energy comes into place. But if Rahu is in with Moon, or if Saturn's with Moon, or if Rahu or Saturn, if only Rahu is aspecting or Saturn is aspecting, then you know that Moon becomes more of with the Saturnian energy than Rahu. But if Rahu and Saturn are both aspecting the Moon, then again it creates a turbulence in the mind. These guys don't know what do I do. In their own mind, they become quite turbulent. Like, what do I do? who am I? And they go crazy. Because these are two malefic planets looking at the moon or sitting with the moon. You know, it can also create suicidal tendencies with these guys, especially in certain nakshatra and certain sign. But, you know, this is just very inconvenient. But the seventh from moon is the sign of Leo. And they look for somebody who's died.
I might try to do mayonnaise. Like homemade one. But I don't remember how it was.
Make sure you guys are checking my pinned comment in the comment section below here. You guys are checking the link that are going to be posted up here. And you guys are also checking out my website, honeysastro.com, to check out my consultations and also my downloadable documents. Please make sure you are checking things out. But anyway, let's just dive straight on into this video because I know you guys are probably anxious to hear what I've got to say. Let's talk about the background of the Aquarius moon, where you guys come from, your mom, your home environment, and what makes you who you are. When you think about the moon is your emotional fulfillment, foundation, home, security, roots, your mother, and it's also in relation to how safe you feel, where you feel safe. Aquarius isn't the most emotionally comfortable placement to have in the moon. Aquarius is more so about connections with people, your networks, your friends, your social circles, and also your head. You know, being about justice of our people. You know, it's always about changing the future and for the world to be a better place, essentially. So already what we just spoke about, we didn't hear much about them. This time at Leo, you'll hear me say things like, oh my God, Leos are very much this, they're very much that, they want this, they want that, It's about their environment, what they want. But Aquarius, there's not really much about them. It's all about the community of people. Here's why. Aquarius people usually come from an environment where they already survive with people, aunties, cousins, the babysitter, grandparents. It took a community to raise this particular child. And the more people that you have around your child, the more detachment you have from mum, okay? But key word throughout this whole video is detachment. Even if your mum was around a lot, emotionally, she was not the most available person to you. And that's a shame because your mum is the first person you meet essentially when you come into the world. She nurtures you, she breastfeeds you, she gives you formula, she feeds you, she's there to support you. You learn first from your mum. She's the first person that you hear when you're growing in her stomach. She's there. She's supposed to keep you warm. But the thing is with Aquarius moons, the environment that you come from, you haven't been provided a very secure environment to feel comfortable. It's like being a child and you having a problem at school and you come home, you're very upset about it. Your mum asks you what's the matter and you tell her what's going on. And she might give you a solution to fix it, as opposed to, oh my gosh, is that how you feel? Or how do you feel about that? As opposed to coming to sit close to you, you know, holding your hand, like stroking your hair and, you know, rubbing your leg and just being there. When you think about that sort of love language style, which is physical touch, a lot of Aquarius moons lacked that close connection. Everything is, okay, so this is a solution to fix it. So they're very much up here when it comes to how they handle their emotions, and that stems from their mum.
Why am I picking them individually?
And it's mad because, like, as we know Aquarius energy to represent rebellion, these people can either come from a very traditional family,
not all of them are made exactly
and they might try
the
and
same.
break a tradition,
So
or there may be no traditions whatsoever, and they're trying to create some sort
I'm
of change
taking some
in
of them
their
so
family
they don't get
structure. So they're
burned.
trying to bring the family together. Remember, this is a community moon. It's about others. It wants to kind of bring people and connect people together. It wants to be the person
why you've not spoken or you've not spoken for the last 10 years. I want to bring you guys together again. Again, we're not thinking about what the needs of Aquarius is, we're thinking about everybody else. Whenever I think about Aquarius, right, I think about the need for independence. Independence, being strong and firm on your own. There's no need to have other people around. And that can mean in relation to how you process your emotions. So when you are emotionally triggered, I've not got to rely on you and you to be there. I can do it on my own. And especially if there is Aries in the chart, because Aries is also independence. I can do big, bad and bold by myself. Having the Aquarius, having the Aries in someone's chart, this is someone who is notorious for feeling so independent that it's easy for them to push people away. But that all starts again with family. There's been a few Aquarius moons that I have read for, and also I know I'm very close with an Aquarius moon, and when I talk to them about their background, you know, what happened in their childhood, there is a lot of memory loss. And it's really sad because your childhood is there to bring you a lot of happiness, a lot of peace. Like when I think back to my childhood, I think about the days where I could just run outside and play, knock on doors and run away. All of the laughing I did in my childhood, like I haven't forgotten because my childhood was great. Loss of memory can be very common for people who have gone through trauma, who have PTSD anyway. But I've noticed Aquarius moons tend to forget a lot of that. Your childhood is literally Gemini energy. It's Leo energy, and Leo opposes Aquarius, which also makes a lot of sense in reference to forgetting what happened in my childhood, what things I went through in my childhood I can't remember, because Aquarius doesn't identify with the inner child of Leo. Aquarius doesn't understand that. So when it comes to looking back in your childhood, sometimes you can get that feeling of, damn, I didn't do much of what I should have done as a child. And also as well, throughout your childhood, you may have known that you were very, very different. A lot of Aquarius moons in their childhood don't feel like they are who they are. I've had clients who identify different genders now, as opposed to what they were born as, or even in reference to their sexual identity, their orientation. They will know their orientation from a young age. You know, especially if this like a lesbian or a gay child, they will know from very, very small. When you think about like a girl child, right, and their parents always put like ribbons and bows in their hair and big pink dresses, that Aquarius child is like, why are they dressing me like this? And what you'll see is as they get older, that girl child will completely get rid of the bows. They wear no dresses. They will literally become the complete opposite as opposed to what their parents kind of made them dress like. And that's what I'm saying. The Aquarius moon can have traditions imposed on them. And they are like, well, fuck these traditions. I'm going to do what I want. And you'll see them over time, how they change. They are literally rebelling against what their family expectations were of them. Wearing dress, cutting their hair off, getting tattoos or piercings. These are things that give them that individual expression, but that's coming from them not wanting to conform to their home, the expectations of their family as well. In reference to their personality type, you know, what kind of people they grow to be, is yes, they are weird, they are unusual. Society deems them as being very, oh, you're a bit different, aren't you? But the thing is, they love their weirdness. They're very quirky individual people. They don't care about fitting into society. You know, like Leos might feel a little bit more like, I want to be a part of the gang. You know, I want to be included. And you know, Aquarius is like, I am the gang. I
What was
want
that
you
for
guys
this?
together.
Blue
Do you know
eggs,
I mean?
what
Like,
the
it doesn't
fuck?
stand for
I might
people
die.
because of its
Bluebell,
insecurities. It
Aducana
stands for people
eggs.
because it
What the
cares
fuck?
about
Never had
bringing
those.
people together and making a change. And things with Aquarius moons as well, like they are all about other people in reference to the injustice. They care about humanitarian rights. Like I was saying before, look to see where Aquarius sits in your chart, what house Aquarius sits in. You'll notice that's an area where you're going to want to create some sort of like social reform, and they will usually have this reason to be very passionate. Aquarius moons aren't afraid to fight, especially if they're fighting for the collective, for a particular cause, for a reason. The environment that these people want to work in is an environment where they have the freedom to do a job how they want to do it. Like, you can say, look, I'd like you to do it A, B, C, and D this way as a manager. But Aquarius can learn that, but they are so advanced that they'll probably learn another a way to make their job easier. A lot of it is also kind of from, I don't like being told what to do.
Weird
Even
potatoes,
though
they
you
don't
go
get
into a
crispy.
job, people, Aquarius moons go into a job and they have this one thing to do. If their manager is telling them this is how you do it, already
They
they're thinking,
taste a
okay,
lot
but how
like
can I do
potato.
it my way?
Whoa.
So they are
Those
rebelling,
potatoes
even though they don't
taste
have to
really
rebel in
nice.
that situation, but they
Whoa.
are natural rebellious people that they will rebel in any situation. If your manager says, hey, your lunch break is at 12 p.m, come back at 1, they might come back at 1:02 or 1:01, or they might leave a bit later, like maybe 10 past 12 and come back at 10 past 1, just because they want that space to have a little bit of freedom. Because they desire liberation, they desire a level of freedom where they're not feeling as though they're being told what to do. So they're still kind of adhering to rules, but they will bend the rule wherever and whenever they can. What's really good about being an Aquarius
This
is
tastes
that
really
these
nice.
people are very true to themselves. It's not a self-centered thing, it's that they don't know who else to be. They don't let society kind of govern, like... Like, oh my god, the perfect. Shopping in these stores, shopping online, they have the same shoe styles. I hate these loafers. What's with these loafers everywhere? And I'm like, Mum, it's a trending style. You know, like fashion. You know, they have like catwalks, fashion shows, and then all the shops copy what's happening. It's just about trends, Mum. Well, you know that I don't do trends. I'm an Aquarius. I don't do trends. And I was like, oh my god. Like my Capricorn moon was just tired of the BS, yeah. But this is the thing, like Aquarius moons are notorious for not wanting to go with what, again, society wants.
Hoy vamos a preparar una mayonesa casera. Necesitaremos los siguientes ingredientes: un huevo a temperatura ambiente, 200 mililitros de aceite de oliva, unas gotitas de zumo de limón y sal. También necesitaremos un vaso largo y el brazo triturador. Primero cascamos el huevo y agregamos una pizca de sal al gusto. Exprimimos unas gotitas de limón y agregamos el aceite de oliva. Seguidamente introducimos el brazo triturador y mantenemos recto. Arrancamos y mantenemos en el fondo sin mover durante 1 minuto. Pasado este tiempo, vemos que ya ha emulsionado y vamos moviendo despacio hacia afuera. Introducimos aire y volvemos a mover hacia adentro. Con movimientos arriba y abajo, terminamos de emulsionar el aceite restante. Servimos inmediatamente y no guardamos de un día para otro. Esta receta y muchas más en recetasdiarias.com.
No son azules. ¿Qué pone? No, motherfuckers. I thought the eggs were gonna be blue. I don't know why.
vamos a ver qué es una mayonesa, fundamentalmente a nivel químico, a nivel físico, como salsa, y también veremos por qué se corta y cómo solucionarlo. ¿Qué es la mayonesa? La mayonesa es una salsa clásica, madre, emulsionada. Es una salsa que al parecer se originó en la ciudad de Mahón, en las Islas Baleares en España, y de ahí vendría el otro nombre con el que también se conoce en varias partes del mundo, ¿no? Como mahonesa. Es una salsa que parte de un principio que vamos a llamar que se llama emulsión, ¿no? ¿Qué sería una emulsión? Una emulsión es cuando mezclamos dos elementos que no se pueden en principio unir o mezclar propiamente dicho, ¿no? Entonces, ¿por qué? Porque por su naturaleza tienden a separarse. A nivel molecular, pues sencillamente esas partículas o esas moléculas de cada uno de sus elementos se separan o se repelen, y entonces se separan siempre en dos fases. Cuando hablamos de emulsión, y en este caso, en el caso de la mayonesa, vamos a mezclar líquidos que son completamente invisibles, que serían el agua y el aceite. Por su naturaleza, si los mezclamos, tienden a separarse, a unirse entre ellos y separarse el uno del otro en dos fases. Una fase acuosa, en el caso del agua, y una fase grasa, en el caso del aceite, ¿no? Cuando hacemos una vinagreta, se tira, ¿no? Pues una vinagreta es prácticamente algo muy similar, ¿no? Tenemos una fase acuosa que sería el vinagre, una fase de sabor o lo que sea,
se me rompen.
y otra fase de grasa, ¿no? En las vinagretas, si nos damos cuenta, la dejamos en el recipiente o la dejamos en el biberón que vamos a utilizar, se separan, las mezclamos, pero al momento se separan en dos fases. Una vez la vayamos a servir, pues la agitamos, y al agitarla, de momento o por muy pocos segundos, lo que obtenemos es una emulsión que después con el tiempo se desestabiliza nuevamente y se corta. Entonces lo que hacemos es agitar, romper el aceite en partículas muy pequeñitas que se suspenden en el agua, pero que cuando la dejamos en reposo, en el caso de la vinagreta, se terminan separando, ¿no? ¿Cómo lograr que esa emulsión dure en el tiempo, ¿no? o que sea mucho más estable? Pues ahí ya empiezan a interferir otros elementos que son los tensoactivos o los emulsionantes, ¿no? Una forma, por ejemplo, clásica de estabilizar una vinagreta puede ser utilizando partículas sólidas de otro elemento, o mostaza, o salsa de mostaza, o cualquier otro elemento. En el caso de la mayonesa, el elemento que nos va a ayudar a estabilizar esa emulsión va a ser la yema de huevo. Propiamente va a ser la lecitina, que es una molécula de grasa que se encuentra en la yema de huevo, que nos va a ayudar a que esas dos fases se unan, ¿vale? A nivel molecular.
And this is my humble lunch. Looks quite good, right?
Cuando yo incorporo aceite
Bye.
¿vale?